Welcome to the Write Publish Market podcast. If you're a business owner thinking a book would be a great marketing asset for your business, you're in the right place. Maybe you've already committed, even better. I'm your host, Jody Brandon, book publishing strategist and partner for business owners, CEOs, and entrepreneurs, and 20 plus year veteran of the book publishing industry. On the Write Publish Market podcast, in addition to learning from me and other industry experts, you'll hear from other business owners about their experiences as we explore all facets of writing, publishing, and marketing a book that will help your business grow in ways you might not even be dreaming of yet. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. We are diving right in today, business owners. I have been talking with so many people lately who are coming to me saying, oh, well, I saw this advice, I heard this advice, and I followed it, and it didn't work. And I can tell you the reason it doesn't work a lot of times is because your book is very different from a professional writer's book who is publishing a book and selling a book, trying to earn a living as a professional writer. That is probably not what you're trying to do, right? That's not your goal. You have a very specific way that you want to use your book within your business as a marketing tool, an asset for your business. So what I want to talk about today are 3 things that I want you to focus on. These are 3 areas where I often see my business owner authors, my CEO authors getting caught up on the wrong things. So what I want you to do is focus on the right things. So let's talk about number 1. I want you to worry less about page count and more about word count and sharing your message. Of course, you have in your mind this book is going to be about 150 pages, about 200 pages, about whatever. And you have that number in your mind from, the research that you've done, right? Especially if you've been following me, you've done the comp title studies, the book marketing analysis, all of those things to figure out what kind of book the marketplace expects for this type of book. I'll link some episodes below, some Write Publish Market podcast episodes where we talk specifically about that. Because if you haven't done that exercise, it's a really, really important one. It will give you so much clarity around your project. But I digress. That then gives you a page count. And then you sort of get yourself backed into this corner of getting to that page count. What I want you to do is not worry about that. Because if you're going to hire a professional typesetter that knows what they're doing, which I hope you are, they can manipulate the page count. And I don't mean manipulate in a bad way. I know that word has a negative connotation, but I mean manipulate in a good way with all sorts of things that, you and I would not be able to do with, font selection, font size, margin size, white space, all of those kinds of things. They can get your book to the page count that you want it to be. What you need to focus, so let them do their job. Your job is to focus on the word count and sharing your message. How many words is it going to take for you to say what you need to say? Think about the promise that you're making in the introduction of the book. What does it take for you to fulfill that promise? What's the transformation that you're offering to readers or providing to readers when they get to the end of the book? Have you done that? That's your job. And then it's the typesetter's job to get it into, get that product into the format that it needs to be for the marketplace. So stop getting caught up on page count. That's number 1. The next thing that I see a lot of business owners in particular focusing on, especially right now, and I know a lot of people are teaching this and that's probably why, is Amazon bestseller status. This is also easy to manipulate. And maybe this could be manipulated in a good way or a bad way. With your category selection, with your keyword selection, all of those things, you can get yourself into a category where you will definitely be an Amazon bestseller status because, there's only 3 or 4 books being published in that category. So it's easy to do. The other thing to remember is that Amazon bestseller status refreshes every 60 minutes. So getting there one time, is it great? Absolutely. But I would urge you to then ask yourself, is this something that you are, putting in your email signature, Amazon bestseller status? Sure. But is it moving the needle to bring money into your business? That's the goal of your book. The goal of your book isn't to be a bestseller. The goal of your book is all of those other things that we talk about here at Jody Brandon Editorial all the time. Lead generation, a speaking arm of your business, being able to charge higher prices for your, one-on-one consulting, filling your group programs, all of those sorts of things. So instead of focusing on that bestseller status, which again, I will say, I say this all the time, I talk about bestseller stuff. I 100% see the allure of that. It's easy to fall into that, vanity metric trap. But really think about instead, what are the right categories for your book to get it seen by the right people? The people who are going to be, that find your book organically. Because again, while we're of course doing direct sales as business owners, as CEOs, as leaders, we're also going to put our book in these other places for people to find, right? But it would be foolish not to. And people are going to Amazon to buy books. People are going, to barnesandnoble.com to buy books. So we do want to have our book available in these places, but we want to also remember that we're playing a longer game. And so we really want to be more concerned about choosing the right categories for, long-term visibility and book marketing versus that quick burst of Amazon bestseller status energy that we get. Even though, listen, I'll tell you, it does feel good. I get it. Hey there, business owner and aspiring or published author. Sorry to interrupt this episode. Just wanted to check in and see if you're subscribed to Coffee and Commas, my email newsletter, where I share behind the scenes, industry info, and much more about writing, publishing, and marketing a book for your business. Sign up at bit.ly/coffee and commas sign up. That's all lowercase. Now back to the show. And that is a nice dovetail into this third thing that I often see people focusing on, which is all of the time, energy, if we're playing poker, all the chips in on, launch week only. We have to remember that we're playing a long game here. Book marketing is a long game. We're looking for long-term visibility. This book is a marketing tool, a marketing asset for our business. It fits into our business ecosystem somewhere. And hopefully you are clear on where that is well before you get to this point. And then there's fun and excitement and buzz and everything when the book is first coming out. And I think that comes from the traditional publishing background where, early sales are so important in the traditional book publishing world because they determine, future print runs. They determine if there's going to be a paperback edition down the line. They determine how much time and effort from the marketing and publicity departments your book is going to get before they, move on to someone else and someone else's book. But you're running your business differently than that book publisher is running their business, right? And so you're using the book differently as a business owner. And sure, a gangbusters launch is great and a lot of fun, but how much is it changing your business right now? You're trying to build something within your business that most likely is not going to be affected by a great launch, even though it's, fun and exciting and all of those things. And certainly we want to put some effort into launch day, launch week, launch month, but we want to pace ourselves and play the long game. I was reading a copy of Robbie Samuels's Launch Your Book, which I highly recommend. I'll link it in the show notes actually for you to check out. But he made a great analogy that you hear, I say a lot of the times, book marketing is a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot of analogies different book publishing people use. And he was saying to think of the book as a launch pad, not a finish line. And I loved that. You hear that, the finish line piece a lot with the writing piece of the Write Publish Market triangle, but less so with the marketing piece. So I really loved that he said that. I think that's a great analogy to keep in mind. All of those efforts at the beginning, you want to use them as a springboard, to again, pace yourself for the long term because your ultimate goal is visibility, right? And that's going to take on lots of different forms to get you to more speaking, more stages, more summits, more trainings, more consultations, more one-on-one clients, more filled group programs, a membership, whatever it might be for you. The visibility is how you get there, visibility from the book. And as we know, visibility is a long game. So that's the third piece where I see people sort of misfocusing on. So just to recap, if you can focus your energy and direct your energy properly in these three areas, it's a wealth of good for your book project. So just to recap, worry about the word count and your message more than the page count. Let your typesetter handle that. Don't worry about bestseller status so much as, choosing the right categories so they can get your book in front of the right people. And then don't focus so much on launch week itself, but think about that as a piece of the puzzle and the long-term game that you're playing, and pace yourself accordingly. Because listen, it does take a lot of time, effort, energy, all the things. So that is my advice for you today. Please direct your energy effectively, focus in the right places to make your book a success. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Write, Publish, Market podcast. I know just how busy business owners and CEOs' schedules are, and I'm grateful you've taken some time out of yours to spend with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, take a quick screenshot and share it on social to let others know you're listening. Use the hashtag WritePublishMarket to spread the love.